Hello and welcome to the Virtual Pro Go-to-Market meeting for 2021. Today, we will be presenting some of the brand new and innovative products that Pro has to offer. The teams from mountain bike, gravel, road, saddles, accessories and marketing will explain all the details. Now, the teams are at the Shimano HQ in Eindhoven, and you may be wondering why I'm not there as well. Well, due to current circumstances, I'm currently shooting here at home in the UK, but we are having a conversation live virtually. First, I'd like to welcome Oliver Müller to provide an update on the Pro business and his expectations for model year 22.
Also from my side, a warm welcome and thank you for joining today's Pro Go-to-Market session. When looking at the revenue development of Pro up to the model year 2020, we see, I would say, the organic growth that we were able to achieve with the Pro brand. But when you look carefully for model year 20, you see that we only achieve a 1.2% growth versus model year 19. This is the result of the first wave of the pandemic, which had a negative effect on the Pro revenue development, because before the pandemic we were quite good on course to have also a very good model year 20 result. In the meantime, we all learned that the impact of the pandemic on the bike business is a very positive one, and not only for the other bike industry people, but also for Pro. And that means when you analyzing the Pro revenue, including model year 21, and here we have data for the order run 1 to 7, then you see that Pro was able to achieve a 99% growth of model year 21 versus model year 20. So in fact, we doubled our revenue in these 7 order runs in model year 21 versus model year 20. And this is really an exceptional result. This is fantastic and a fantastic kickstart for our Pro business. But I must admit, it is also the reason for the current Pro order run lead times.
Yes, that's understandable, but a 99% growth, that is brilliant to hear. It does raise questions, doesn't it, though, about the future Pro revenue development, and you need to answer those with your Pro partners.
Yes, that's absolutely correct. And we, together with our partners, need to really discuss in detail how long will that bike boom continue in each country, and what will that be the meaning for the Pro business in the future. What will be the new normal for the Pro revenue in your country, and how will your expectation for model year 22 revenue and the years to come look like?
And of course, the last year has been unprecedented. It is a challenge, therefore, isn't it, to see business development when the extrapolation of historical data doesn't provide any guidance?
Yeah, forecasting in general isn't an easy task. And as you said, when you have a situation that the historical data do not help you to predict the future data, then it really gets difficult, especially when we have to forecast on item level. But we need to develop, together with our Shimano sales offices and distribution partners, the best possible estimate of the revenue development of Pro in model year 22. And as the situation is so exceptional, we need to have market insights from you, the countries, and we need to have your sales to market data to have a good understanding where we are going. This in combination with a really reliable forecast for model year 22 are the main ingredients that we need at the Pro side. Yeah, to make the right decisions, and the right decisions for Pro, that means production capacity, that means purchase at vendors, that means supply and lead times in the end towards you, our customers.
Great stuff. And what else do we need to investigate to better understand Pro's development?
For Pro, it is important in the current situation to get a better understanding in how far our growth that we achieve is in line with the market growth or higher or lower, which means I do want to avoid a situation there we have growth, that we are happy with our growth, but in the end, the market is growing faster than we are growing, and it would mean, although you have a growth, we lose market share. So to have that in a very good understanding for the whole Pro worldwide, we need input from our partners on the market share development of Pro for the key product categories.
And are there additional aspects as well that we should consider with the current bike boom that we're all experiencing to achieve the best possible impact on Pro development?
This is a really good question, Laura. We need to ask ourselves, do we do everything we can to use the current bike boom to develop a sustainable and solid fundament of Pro dealers that have a strategic focus on the Pro key product categories? So, in other words, do we have in each country a good understanding who are the Pro focus dealers split by product category? And who are the ones that we want to develop to become a focus dealer? When I speak about a focus dealer, what is a focus dealer for me? I would say each dealer position himself via the brands he positioned towards the end consumer. So, in the first place, these are the bike brands. But I also do believe for the products that Pro is offering in the key product categories, saddle, cockpit, dropper seat post, and tools, dealers position themselves with the brands they offer towards the end consumers. So when I talk, for example, for the category saddle on a focus dealer, I do believe that such a focus dealer will not only offer one single saddle as the Stealth product, but he will offer all different saddle shapes that we have in our lineup. And maybe additionally, he will also offer our test saddles or things like a sit bone measurement cube, so as additional things that help him to position Pro as his strategic partner for a certain product category. A customer product matrix defines the focus dealers by Pro product category, and the future ones that we want to achieve is an important tool for us to grow the business in the future. Means, if we use the current bike boom to not only sell, but to develop the brand, and with it to create a very solid Pro dealer landscape, I do believe that we benefit most as Pro brand, but also together on the Pro revenue.
Thank you so much, Oliver, and it's brilliant to hear the positive effect the bike boom has had on Pro as a business. Now, one area of Pro, and indeed the bike industry as a whole, that is seeing enormous growth is the gravel industry. So we're now going to head to talk to Martijn and Anton. First of all, though, let's take a look at what gravel is all about.
Have you ever met Miss Lindy? She's a gal with the bright red hair. Now she stands out from all the rest. You know her anywhere. Where she's mine. Yeah, she's mine. Well, I love that little girl with the bright red hair. Well, Miss Lindy, my Miss Lindy. Well, I love that little girl with the bright red hair. Have you ever seen Miss Lindy? She likes to dance all day, and when she does rock and roll, it takes your breath away. Well, she's mine, yeah, she's mine. Well, I love that little girl, she's so fine.
Well, that video really showed what is out there to discover. So to talk us through it all then, Martijn, how are you?
I'm fine, thanks Laura, and especially since Anton and I are the lucky ones to get to talk about gravel and the exciting new products Pro will be bringing for the next model year.
So why is gravel so exciting, and where is this growth coming from?
Well, we've seen this growth since the beginning of gravel. It was really explosive growth, and also in terms of bikes being offered by OEMs. Pretty much all big OEMs now have quite a broad lineup of gravel bikes. But looking closer at home, for example, in GRX specifications on OEM bicycles, we can see also there triple and double-digit growth over the past couple of years.
And how is this impacting Pro?
Well, at Pro we've been one of the first brands to offer a dedicated lineup of gravel-specific products, and this was really made possible because of our development team. Is very focused on determining what trends are out there in the market in need of an answer. So we now have a complete lineup of gravel products available, from bags, cockpits, seat pillars and accessories. And where needed, we also offer different levels of price points and specifications. Okay,
can you give us some examples of growth with the products you've mentioned?
Yeah, so what we can currently see is that our gravel products are amongst the fastest growing in our entire portfolio. And as I've mentioned before, very early on in the rise of gravel, we had quite a complete lineup of gravel products. And obviously having such a lineup really boosts the sales and success of these products over the past 2 model years.
And is the gravel scene limited to markets or territories?
Well, as a matter of fact, we see this growth and this fast growth globally. It's not just limited to certain markets or countries, and that really shows to us that gravel is a global trend and that these products answer to needs that you see in more markets than one. And therefore we see double and triple digit growth in most markets, even when it comes to more mature markets like, for example, the US or Europe.
So I guess we've not seen the last of this growth in the gravel market then?
Exactly, yeah, especially in the gravel segment, we see new developments coming in really fast, and because of this, because of the fact that the segment is relatively new, you can see changes and evolution of bicycles and components following each other rather rapidly. And in order to stay relevant and on trend, our developers need to keep developing the lineup and launch new products into the market where we see potential.
Okay, thank you very much, Martijn, for giving us some insights into how Pro is looking at the market and following the trends closely as well. You've already mentioned the development of new products, and to get all the ins and outs on the year's gravel products, I'll be talking to Anton Peters, one of the Pro product developers. But before we go to Anton, let's remind ourselves of what it's like to go on an adventure. Take a look at this. So welcome to Anton, as you're one of the Pro developers who've been working on these products. How did you decide which products to develop?
Thank you, Laura. As Martijn already mentioned, with the Discover series, we already have a very successful lineup, a successful gravel lineup. But we are keen to follow the market closely. So we do a lot of research. And because our entire Pro team is very passionate on cycling, we do a lot of product testing, and then within the team we discuss what direction to go.
It sounds a very hands-on approach. And how do you see the gravel market evolving?
Well, if we look at the gravel scene, we see a lot of different riders and riding styles. But overall, we see three different groups. And of course, each of these groups has its own needs. The first group that we identified are the gravel endurance racers, with a clear focus on speed and long days in the saddle. And therefore, they're riding a gravel-specific race bike, which is aero and lightweight. The second group are the adventure riders, riding more technical terrain and therefore focused more on control over the bike. And their bike, therefore, has a geometry that's more leaning towards mountain bike, and it even could have suspension and it has wider tires. And last but not least, they're the bikepackers, keen on comfort and the ability to take multiple days storage. And therefore they're riding a sturdy bike with lots of mounts for racks and fenders and a comfortable multi-position handlebar.
Okay, thank you. So what does this mean for the new developments for the Pro team?
Well, we believe that for the gravel racers we already have a very complete lineup. So for model year 22, the focus will be on the other two groups. We see a growing group of adventure riders and bikepackers who want to make their bike more capable on rough terrain and better suited for bikepacking.
Okay, and what needs have you identified for these riders?
We believe that these riders will benefit from riding with a wider handlebar. Such a handlebar offers more control on technical terrain and fast descents. And as an extra bonus, such a handlebar offers more room for mounting a handlebar bag. But the handlebar that we developed is not just a wider version of our existing handlebars. Developing a wider handlebar requires to look closely again into the drop and reach number of a handlebar. The traditional aero elbow tucked in position changes to a wider elbow out position.
Okay, talk us through the specification of these handlebars.
The Discover Alloy 30, as it will be called, will be available in size up to 480 millimeters. And to compensate for this extra width, it has a small reach and a 5-degree back sweep. The drop of the handlebar is small compared to our existing handlebars, makes it easier to switch hand position. And the handlebar will have a large flare for more control and wrist clearance when riding in the drops.
And what about these bikes that adventure riders and bikepackers are riding? What developments are we seeing there?
If we look at the bikes, we see a clear trend in frame geometry towards longer frame reach, slacker head angle, and therefore a longer wheelbase. Such a bike is more stable on rough terrain and fast descents. But to compensate for this long frame reach, of course, you need a shorter stem, and therefore we expect larger sales numbers for the Discover stem in size 70, 80 and 90 millimeters. And to be compatible with this trend and the wider handlebars, the stem will get a small update. The clamping area is slightly reinforced to withstand the higher forces.
Thank you very much, Anton. Okay, back to you, Martijn. What other trends are Pro seeing in the gravel scene?
Well, in the gravel market, we see an increased focus on endurance and comfort, like Anton already mentioned, and some brands even offer suspension in gravel bikes. However, at Pro we believe in the strength of our Discover carbon seat post. We introduced it in model year 20, and it is a lightweight carbon seat post with a dynamic construction to smoothen out even the roughest rides. So without adding the complexity and weight of moving parts, but still offering compliance and still offering sufficient support and great performance at the same time.
And Anton, back to you. The team have managed to improve this.
Yes, we did, Laura. The original 400mm Discover seat post already proved to be very comfortable on sloping frames, where the seat post is extending a lot out of the frame. But of course, not all frames are designed for such a long seat post. So there we saw an opportunity for traditional frames to develop a 320mm seat post. The maximum extended length of this seat post is still 240mm, so that's still more than enough for those frames. And for this length, we were able to fine-tune the carbon layup.
And what are the benefits of that seat post for those bikes?
During development, of course, we did a lot of testing. And during those tests, we measured a 33% increase in deflection, resulting in a very comfortable ride while still giving enough support. And we achieved a weight saving of 12%. So the total weight of this seat post is now 190 grams. But that's not all. We are also adding a 30.9mm version to the lineup. So now we have a solution for the majority of bikes out in the field.
And Martijn, as you mentioned already, another big product in gravel is bags. Can we expect anything new there from Pro?
Yeah, indeed, you're right. So bikepacking is becoming more and more popular. And with that, there's an increased demand for all kinds of packing bags, bikepacking bags and accessories. And although we already have quite a complete lineup at Pro, we do see opportunities to expand the lineup in those areas.
So Anton, can you tell us how Pro will develop this new lineup?
Last year, we introduced our new Discover team bags. These bags are designed for the most demanding gravel riders and bikepackers, riding in all weather conditions. All of our team bags are lightweight and fully waterproof due to the high-end material, the welded seams and the waterproof zipper. And for model year 22, we will add 2 new bags to the lineup. The Team Frame Rack Small and the Team Saddlebag.
Okay, let's take a look at the details then of these bags.
Because of the slightly smaller outer dimensions, the small Team Frame Bag will fit almost every frame. And the improved strap system provides a stable fixation. The large 2.7-liter volume allows the rider to pack the essentials for a long trip. And then we have the Team Saddlebag. With its large capacity and roll closure, it's the perfect storage solution for small items like tools and your puncture repair accessories.
And Martijn, do you see any new exciting trends in this scene?
Yeah, so what we see that there's an overlap from gravel into other segments these days as well. So besides the traditional saddlebag, we see compact transport solutions on, for example, road bikes. This gives us the opportunity to expand our lineup with a compact handlebar bag in this case. And as we will call it, the Discover Team Handlebar Bag will really be suited for the needs of the gravel biker, the bikepacker, but also the roadie that likes to go on longer rides.
And Anton, what can you tell us about the specifications?
Being a Teamline bag, the handlebar bag is made out of the same lightweight material with welded seams and a watertight zipper. The 2-liter volume is easily accessible while riding your bike, and the multiple pockets on the inside allow for organizing your stuff. And with a handlebar and frame strap, the bag is easily mounted on any bike, ensuring a stable and secure fixation.
Thank you. And finally, from you, Martijn, do you have any final words on the gravel segment for Pro?
Yes, I would like to close off with where we started as well, with saying that at Pro we are on top of the market developments which go fast in the gravel segment. The goal remains having a very complete and on-trend collection of gravel-dedicated products. And we are convinced that with the new cockpit components, seat post and the additions to our bag lineup, Pro maintains their position at the front of the pack.
Thank you very much, Martijn and Anton. Great to hear from you both. It really sounds like Pro is making sure it is the go-to brand for the gravel scene, no matter what kind of rider you are. Well, we touched on some of the bags and accessories with the gravel rider in mind here. Let's go into more detail about the full array of products and accessories. We'll be speaking to Marco, but also to Martijn once again. You're staying here with us.
Yes, indeed, still here, and it's great to give you and our audience insider information about our new Pro accessories for model year 22. And speaking of accessories, we see that when we look at the share of accessory sales, they represent almost 50% of the total Pro lineup sales. So that's a really massive and big category. And looking at the last 2 model years, we've been really investing in filling up the gaps to create a complete lineup for all bikes and all types of riders. Of course, also driven by the general development in the bicycle industry over the last year with massive sales. We've seen a year-to-date increase for the Pro accessories of 117% versus last year. So that's also very, very impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. Accessory sounds like an umbrella term for a large number of products. Which products are we talking about today, and what kind of products are in this category?
Yeah, so in essence, our Pro accessories are designed to improve all the functions on and around your bike. For example, products like tools, pumps, bags, tapes, and so forth. And all with the goal, of course, to improve your sports bike experience for every rider. But for today, we will focus on specific categories, which are tools, bags, pumps. And also we have a new storage solution, which Marco will tell you a lot more about later on.
Okay, great to hear. What's the first category we're going to be talking about?
Well, the first category for today is are the Pro bags, and especially saddlebags in this case. These products are really well and highly appreciated by our customers and also the consumers using them. And they really are the best sellers within our bag lineup in terms of quantity. We believe, however, that it is the right time to improve and bring new products for this range.
We've already seen from the Gravel team huge growth in saddlebags, so why the focus in the accessories team as well?
Yeah, well, of course, our Gravel bags are one of our hero products currently, and together with the entire Gravel segment, they are growing rapidly in sales since 2019, since we introduced them. And the Gravel bags were a great addition to our bag lineup, offering great solutions for all types of riders. However, if you look into the sales numbers of saddlebags, because we were talking about saddlebags as well, the saddlebags outsell the Gravel bags in terms of quantity. So that was also one of the key reasons for our product team to also focus on bringing new saddlebags for model year 22.
Thank you very much, Martijn. That gives great insight into the development and where the sales and trends are going as well. Marco, bringing you in now, can you show us the lineup of the saddlebags and tell us a bit more about the design process too?
Yes, for model year 22, we focused on improving our existing saddlebags. And as Martijn explained, they are important for us and for our customers and final users as well. We improved all our strapped bags in all sizes, in quality and material. So the small, medium, large and extra large saddlebags will be updated for model year 22. Here the materials has been changed and the quality of the strap and of the zipper further improved to ensure an even longer life for such a successful product in our lineup.
Okay, sounds good. And what else is new in this category?
Additionally, we introduced a new saddlebag. It's the Saddle Wrap, a saddlebag without any zipper. It is aimed at those cyclists who look for a simple but effective solution for a saddlebag. It is wrapped with a strong strap around the saddle rails, and most common items can be fitted in the saddlebag.
Thank you very much, Marco. Okay, Martijn, back to you. You mentioned more areas the development team has been focusing on.
Yes, indeed. One of the other categories the team focused on was the tool category. So for model year 22, we will also be bringing new tools in the lineup. Yeah, so the past 3 years, we expanded this category strongly. And the category includes items like bike stands, mini tools, toolboxes, and DIY tools. And we see with the DIY tool growth that it's strongly linked to the huge increase in the market of bikes with disc brakes, for example, but also the shift towards 12-speed really creates and increases the demand for compatible tools for home mechanics.
Can you tell me more about the development of tools over the years?
Yeah, a few years ago we introduced the line of team tools, which is our most premium lineup of tools with better ergonomics and really high-end durable materials. And we also introduced new tools like, for example, the internal routing tool to support wiring on Di2 and disc brake equipped bikes. So besides offering choice in specification and function, we also offer solutions on different price and specifications level, for example, with the team tools. So the result of this all is that we see the do-it-yourself tools become more and more important within the lineup, and they now represent an almost 60% share within the total tool category.
Thank you, Martijn. This is really interesting. Okay, Marco, can you tell us a bit more about the tools in the Pro lineup?
Focus this year was on do-it-yourself tools, which, as Martijn explained, they are really important in our lineup. Installation and maintenance of disc brakes is becoming more and more a do-it-yourself activity. For model year 22, we then introduced the brake hose installation tool, which is the tool needed for installing the disc brake hose. It is aimed at home mechanic level because it's easy to use and user-friendly. It combines two tools together, a cutter, which allows to shorten the hose to the preferred length, and an installation tool, which allows to connect the connector insert in the proper way and complete the setup. The blade is replaceable and is positioned in such a way to avoid the user get harmed while using the tool.
Sounds like a great solution, Marco. Do you have any more products equipped at disc brake bikes?
Another tool for disc brakes is the 8mm open-end wrench. It allows for precisely tightening of specific bolts that connect the hose to the brake lever or STIs and to the brake caliper. These bolts require max tightening torque. The tool, the 8mm open-end wrench, is to be used with the torque wrenches to avoid over-tightening of these bolts. In general, the tool is compatible with all Pro torque wrenches, but also with half-inch torque wrenches.
Nice, great addition. Are there further developments or any other new tools to look out for?
We always keep an eye on new technology and what's new on the market, and we update our existing tools to meet this new technology. For model year 22, we update our internal routing tool to be compatible with the smaller head of the new generation Di2 wires. The tool will stay compatible with the old generation wires as well, making it possible to complete the setup with all the Shimano components.
Okay, so with these tools then, the user can set up cables, hoses, wires. That's great news. What about wheels and wheel maintenance?
Truing the wheel is becoming another do-it-yourself activity. With the wheel truing stand that we introduced for model year 22, every cyclist can make sure his or her wheels are straight and round. This tool is simple and intuitive to use, but it offers at the same time a wide range of compatibility. So wheels from quick release to Super Boost true axle wheels can be trued on this stand, while the quick release wheels can be mounted directly onto the wheel truing stand. The true axle wheels in all sizes of axle need a special adapter. This adapter is included with the tool, and additionally the pin that makes sure that the wheel is aligned is spring-loaded. So this avoids any damage to the wheel. And also, lastly, the pin is used to check the alignment of the rim, but also of the disc rotor.
And there are more tools for wheels coming from Pro, right, Marco?
Yes, seeing the success of the cassette removal set, for model year 22 we introduced a second set of cassette removal. It combines the lock ring tool with the cassette wrench we introduced in model year 21.
Great stuff. It looks like there's a lot of new options to match the current market needs for all bike riders. Martijn, bringing you back in now. You mentioned at the beginning a new storage solution on the bike. Can you tell us a bit more?
Yeah, so with the Pro product team, we discussed about the locations on a bike where a cyclist can store their items for on-road maintenance, for example. And this type of integration is really a hot topic as well in the market. And we can see quite some different solutions rising in the market as well. The good thing is at Pro, we already offer quite some options to bring personal items and on-road maintenance items with you on the ride anyway. But Laura, let me ask you, you're a passionate cyclist yourself. Where do you carry your stuff when you go out for a ride?
So I have a few items in my jersey pockets, food, phone, money, but most other stuff probably goes in my saddle bag. But it's been a long, cold, dark winter here in the UK, so it's getting pretty muddy. An alternative would be good. Marco, tell me, how did you research and create this storage solution? And is there a target user or discipline with this one too?
There's not a specific target user. The need of on-ride storage location is independent by the discipline. And also we noted during our research phase that mountain bikers give high importance to the bottle cage, as it emerges from a recent online survey made by Pinkbike with around 30,000 responses. We then focused on the bottle cage as storage location and on all cyclists. So from roadies to gravelers and mountain bikers.
Okay, let's go into more detail then about the product you've created.
We introduced our Pro Smart Cage, our latest solution for combining different accessories while on the ride. It is made of two parts, a base and a cage. The base can be directly bolted to the frame, and it offers two mounting positions, a high and low position. The cage, which is connected to the base, offers even more adjustability. So it can be flipped upside down and slightly rotated, so from a straight pull to a slightly left or right one. All features make this product compatible with all bike frames and with all personal preferences of the users. The core of this product is the integration. Besides being a usual bottle cage, several items can be nicely integrated in it. A mini pump, a mini tool, a pouch, and two tire levers they all fit in this product.
Well, now I'm really interested, Marco. Can you tell us more about this exciting product?
The mini tool snaps into the base and it is covered by the bottle. The tire levers are also integrated into the base, but they hook to the side. The pouch, which can be left out if needed, is because it's mounted with a clip-in mount, connects underneath the bottle cage and the bottle, and it offers extra storage for an inner tube or some personal items. The pump, which is also mounted with a clip-in mount and indeed can also be left out if needed, is connected on the side of the base. Overall, the product is slim but with plenty of options, and the total weight of the bare version without any extra items is only 80 grams.
Amazing stuff. Thank you, Marco. It really covers everything that I bring for my rides. Okay, Martijn, it looks like Pro is developing a brand new concept.
Yes, it is. And the great thing about the Smart Cage concept is that it enables cross-selling between different categories. It integrates all products you need for your ride. And the Smart Cage is compatible, as Marco already said, with practically all bike frames out there. So for model year 22, we will offer a special introduction pack with the Smart Cage together with all items that can go in it, like the mini tool, pump or CO2, tire levers and the pouch. And this will really help to bring this product to the market and will make the sellout at retailer level really easy.
Great stuff. So Marco, I have a feeling that's not everything.
Yes, indeed. Cyclists differ not only for the bike they ride, being mountain bike, road bike or gravel bike, but also for their setup, which can be tubeless or with inner tubes. Another difference is their experience. So not everyone, for example, is capable of changing a chain when it's snapped on the road. That's why having a wide offer range was the second pillar we used when developing the Smart Cage besides integration. While most of our mini pumps are already compatible with the Pro Smart Cage, that's not the case for the mini tool. For model year 22, we then expand our line of mini tools with 4 mini tools which differ in terms of functions. So what kind of on-road maintenance you can do with them. All 4 of them will carry the performance name.
Okay, tell us more about these mini tools.
We update the 8-function mini tool into a 9-function mini tool with the most common Allen and Torx key that a cyclist needs when out for a ride. We then have a 9-function tubeless mini tool which allows to easily repair a tubeless tire when it's punctured. We have also a 14-function mini tool which, besides the most common keys, has a chain tool and the spoke wrenches. And then the 17-function mini tool, which besides all common keys, has also the possibility of installing and bringing on the ride the quick link.
And these 4 mini tools are all compatible with the Smart Cage?
Yes, indeed, they are. Besides being standalone mini tools, they are designed to be compatible with the Smart Cage.
And any other changes for mini tools?
Yes, we update all the chain tools in our mini tools to be 12-speed compatible. So other 3 mini tools will be updated for model year 22. And these are the 22 function, the Team 14 function and the Team 20 function mini tools.
Thank you very much, Marco, for that information. Okay, Martijn, before I start a ride, I always check my tyre pressure. You mentioned at the beginning that pumps are a part of the accessories department too.
Yes, Laura, and the pump category is a very important one. Our pump and mini pump lineup are responsible for almost 10% of our yearly sales, so that's quite a big number for just a few products. And with the addition of last year's pumps regarding better ergonomics of grips, but also multiple heads, more pressure options, we already offered a lot of solutions for our consumers out there. The focus for today is, and for the coming model year, was on improving one of the really highly demanded products, the Team Tubeless Floor Pump.
Okay, Marco, what was the focus in development of the Team Tubeless Floor Pump?
As Martijn explained, this year we focused on improving the Team Tubeless pump compared to the version we already have in the market. The pump for model year 22 will have a full alloy construction, so base, handle and barrel will be made out of alloy material. The head also changes to a AH head, which auto-adjusts between shredder and Presta valves. And it also has a pressure relief valve. The hose is longer and the base is wider for a better stability of the pump. The tubeless function is made possible by the canister, which is fitted onto the pump. The canister, once it's filled up, in one blast it delivers enough pressure to sit tubeless tires up to 2.3 inches wide on 29er tires.
Great stuff. We have seen so many products here from Pro. Martijn, is this everything or do we have a bit more?
So after riding or tooling, you want to store your bike in your house or your shed, and this topic also has our attention. Our current bike stands, for example, are very well accepted in the market, but we've seen the need to further develop our mounting solutions for end consumers, because we see a lot of potential in this category, and our product team really created some great new products to create a complete and solid lineup for this segment as well.
Well, for someone living in quite a small apartment, this is definitely of interest. Marco, can you tell us a bit more about the design and which points were important in the development stage of these storage solutions?
The goal of the design was to address every cyclist. So from the newcomer to cycling who needs a simple and easy way of storing the bike, to the experienced cyclist who need maybe something more. Also to be considered are the different ways the bike is stored compared to the wall. Can be either parallel, perpendicular, or angled to the wall, depending on the mount, but also on the space available. Another factor is the number of bikes, typically 1 or 2, but also the type of bike, because a mountain bike has a wider handlebar than a road bike. Also, lastly, what we consider is the possibility of storing extra items with the bike.
So what are the storage products?
We introduced the Sport Wall Mount. It is a simple but yet effective solution to store the bike. It keeps the bike off the ground and by the pedal, putting it angled to the wall. The wheels rest on proper mounts, which are adjustable in their mounting position. It can be used with any bike, even e-bikes, and it makes good use of the often limited space that a cyclist has in their apartment or garage. The second item we introduce is the Team Wall Mount. It's our most premium item of storage solution, and it allows either one bike to be put parallel to the wall or 2 bikes to be put perpendicular to the wall. The one bike option has hooks that can be adjusted in case of a wider handlebar or sloping top tubes. Also, several accessories can be put on top, like helmet, shoes, or other small parts.
Great stuff, thank you for that. And what about repair stands?
Demand has grown also for repair stands. We have in our lineup our well-known bike repair stands. This year we introduced the Sport Repair Stand, which is a simpler and low price point version of the bike repair stand. It's aimed at those cyclists who don't perform a really thorough maintenance on their bike, but they still need a stand to wash or clean the bike and for really easy maintenance like oiling the chain and so on. It has an alloy structure and it is adjustable and foldable, so it can be carried and stored easily.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Marco, for those explanations. We've seen some brilliant options from Pro. Martijn, what would you like everyone to take away from this?
Yes, let's indeed wrap up. We've seen the accessories category being really important for us and our customers, and we've seen the massive growth year on year. And for model year 22, we focused on bringing not only a new pump, which Marco already explained just now, but also great DIY tools, new saddlebags and storage solutions off the bike as well as on the bike. So the bottom line is now we offer an even more complete lineup of accessories for all types of bikes and all types of riders.
Thank you, Martijn. Thank you, Marco, for such a thorough explanation of the Pro accessories, from pumps and tools to that innovative smart cage. There is so much for bike riders to be excited about. Thank you so much. Now, another rapidly growing and hugely exciting market is the mountain bike world. From e-mountain bikes to tyre and frame trends, there is much to talk about. So I'm very pleased to welcome Boy and Jelle along. Boy, firstly to you, what are the latest trends in the mountain bike world?
Yeah, thank you, Laura. Yes, there are many trends in the mountain bike world these days. Mountain bikes going all to one by. We see tires going to 29ers, tubeless. That's something that Marco already was talking about in the pump presentation. We see slacker mountain bike frames allowing wider handlebars, shorter stems, and even longer droppers. And last but not least, EMTBs is a rapidly growing segment. So with the last ones I would like to talk about today together with Jelle. And let's kick off with e-mountain bike. So Laura, do you know what the first e-mountain bike was?
No, I don't. You're going to have to tell me.
Well, it was just 11 years ago when Haibike launched the first dedicated e-mountain bike. Yeah, so it started just 11 years ago, and since then it started growing very fast. As with many new things, we see a lot of people trying to resist it, fight it. But each mountain bike brand these days pretty much has an e-mountain bike. If you look at the headlines in the media, we also see e-bikes growing very rapidly, and even the UCI adapted e-mountain bike. So I definitely would say E is the future.
So just how big is the market?
Well, if you just look at the EU figures, you can see clearly a growing trend. And for 2019, we predicted over 780,000 e-mountain bikes being sold. And of course, Europe is the biggest market, but globally we see this trend growing very fast.
And what is the motivation for people to get one? Aren't they quite expensive?
Yes, that's correct. The more expensive than let's say, conventional mountain bike due to the adding of a battery and a drive unit. But it gives so much in return. We see people buying one, they see their friends riding, so it's already getting accepted really quick. And if you look at this infographic, you can see what are the reasons for people to get one. Well, that's first of all fun, health, but most importantly also enjoy nature. And if you look what the purchase intention is, we see that almost 60% of the people is willing to invest in an e-mountain bike in the near future. So that's very promising.
And how do OE brands cater to this trend?
Yeah, as mentioned, pretty much each mountain bike brand has an e-mountain bike in their lineup these days. Of course, we had the early adapters, like I mentioned in the beginning, Haibike, but then we got the Meridas and the Focus. And more recent additions are, for example, Santa Cruz and YT, offering very cool e-mountain bikes. And the cool thing is, they run Shimano steps as well.
Okay, why is that exciting?
Yeah, so Pro is part of the Shimano family, and that makes us, of course, very proud. But it also gives us a lot of benefits and opportunities in terms of development. But if you look at Shimano step sales or the mountain bike steps sales, you can see we're doing very well if you look to the sales development.
Thank you very much, Boy. So Jelle, bringing you in then, just how big a role is Pro playing in the e-mountain bike industry?
Pro was quite early in the mountain bike scene. Even mountain bike wasn't popular yet. In model year 15, we introduced Tarsus and Koryak, which were suited for Di2 internal cable routing and also for steps wires. And in model year 18, we introduced our first dedicated e-mountain bike saddle, the Vulture. With its tail-up design, it's better suited for riding an e-mountain bike to get a more upright position. And Laura, also very important to know that all our mountain bike handlebars and stem are strictly tested to ISO and EN standards of e-mountain bike. Last year, we introduced the first world integrated e-mountain bike cockpit, or Koryak e-Performance cockpit. With this new cockpit, we wanted to set a new milestone on integration of Shimano step systems. This was the starting point for us as product team to continue the development of new mountain bike handlebars and stem for a wider audience. This with focus point on integration of electric Shimano steps wires for a cleaner outlook and for protection these wires, and e-mountain bike optimization.
So Jelle, what does this mean then, e-mountain bike optimization?
So the rider has several touching points on the bike, and with the correct saddle and the optimized handlebar stem combination, it improves your ride on the bike and it gives you a more comfortable riding position. We as product team, we did various tests on the riding style and the shapes of the handlebar, and we conclude that 11-degree back sweep is a sweet spot back sweep for e-mountain bike riding. This 11-degree back sweep will give the rider a more upright position, a higher trunk angle, and with this position, there is more pressure relief on the wrists of the e-mountain bike rider.
So what's the history for the 11-degree sweep?
2 years ago, we already introduced the Pro e-Control grips. These grips will give your original 9-degree mountain bike handlebar 2 additional 2 degrees of back sweep. And last year, we introduced the Koryak e-Performance cockpit. This one-piece handlebars has also 11-degree back sweep. So this all made a complete round story.
So what are the specs and features then of this Koryak e-Performance combination?
So for this year, we will introduce 2 new Koryak e-Performance handlebars, both with 20mm rise and 11 degrees back sweep and 800mm wide. But they will come in 2 different versions. One version will be made out of UD carbon and will have a weight of 245 grams, and another version will be made of alloy 7050, and this will have a weight of 285 grams. I see you thinking what will make these handlebars Koriak E specific. We designed these handlebars with 35mm clamping diameter to match the oversized look of current e-mountain bikes. And these handlebars will also have completely internal cable wires routing for Shimano steps wires. They will go in behind the Shimano steps display and they will run completely through the handlebar until the placement of the Shimano steps controller. To match these two handlebars, we will also bring a Koriak E-Performance dedicated stem. This stem will have a 0-degree angle and it will have 3 sizes, 35mm, 45mm and 55mm, and it will come in aluminium 6061.
Thank you, Jelle. And Boy, who is the target rider and bike for this set? What should the sales rep look for?
Yeah, we see already many steps bikes in the market, as I showed you on the graph, and of course many more to come. Pro is now able to offer a kit accessible to many EMTB riders to upgrade and outperform. What is the target consumer? First of all, everybody that rides an EMTB with steps drive unit. And for the reps, I would highly recommend to target those dealers selling and maintaining e-mountain bikes equipped with steps drive units.
Brilliant. It looks like an amazing product for a fast-growing segment. So you mentioned other trends to discuss, Boy. Let's move on then to mountain bike bars and stems.
Yeah, correct. In our bar lineup, we have some other amazing additions. Yeah, if we see the sales figures, MTB bars is doing really good, positive adaptation there from our product. But if you look on the right side in the red square, yeah, you see in the Tharsis lineup in model year 21, we didn't sell any bars. Well, the reason is we discontinued the Tharsis bars and the whole group set moved, all the handlebars and stems moved to 35mm clamping diameter for both bars and stems. So yeah, that left us with a gap in a carbon version for 31.8. And from the market, we get a lot of requests to fill up that gap.
Okay, Jelle, bringing you back in, could you please explain then how Pro is filling that gap and catering to the 31.8mm carbon demand?
Yeah, we know that the Tharsis 3.5 handlebars are great products, but some riders just prefer 31.8mm diameter handlebars, or a lot of riders are just looking for a nice carbon handlebar to match their carbon frame, or they want to replace their OEM alloy handlebar for a nice carbon one. For this, we created 2 new Koriak carbon handlebars at 31.8 clamping diameter at a very competitive price point. We will bring a Koriak carbon riser handlebar. This handlebar will have 20mm rise, 9-degree back sweep and is 800mm wide. This handlebar is made out of 50% carbon and 50% glass fiber. Next to the riser handlebar, we will also bring a Koriak flat top handlebar. This handlebar has 5mm rise, has also 9-degree back sweep and is 740mm wide. To conclude, with these specs, it ticks all the correct boxes and for today's mountain biking, and it doesn't break the bank.
Thank you, Jelle. It's super impressive that Pro is able to offer this. So back to you then, Boy. What else can we expect from the team in this mountain bike lineup? Do you have any updates on mountain bike stems or perhaps a development in the LT range?
Yeah, definitely. Also here we have some exciting news to tell you. Yeah, last year our LT handlebars got a refresh. So that leads us to the LT stems. Yeah, and as you can see, we have a quite variety of stems from adjustable stems in the LT range to generic stems, but in different angles and different lengths. Yeah, we've been talking about MTB trends today. And Laura, if you look at these stems, what do you see? What is missing?
Boy, you're really testing me today. All I see are stems. So Jelle, please help me out. What am I missing?
Current LT stems are not matching today's mountain bike trends. 0-degree is nowadays the benchmark for trail riding, enduro and all mountain biking. To give our good mountain bike stem lineup more strength, we will bring a 0-degree LT stem that match today's mountain bike riding trends. The new LT stem will have a 0-degree angle. It will come in 3 sizes, 40, 50 and 60mm, and it's made out of alloy 6061. It is designed for 31.8 clamping diameter handlebars.
That is a good looking stem, especially at that price point as well. So Jelle, any other updates on the LT lineup?
Yes, indeed. We see a lot of riders who are looking for update or replacement their handlebar or stem combinations. For this reason, we will add 2 new LT handlebars to our LT range, with the same specifications as Everest handlebars that we already have in our lineup. If we look closer to the specifications of these 2 new handlebars, we will bring one LT handlebar with 20mm rise and one with 40mm rise. Both handlebars will have 9-degree back sweep and they are 800mm wide. Both handlebars will come in a new updated artwork that is more aggressive, and this will come next to current mountain bike LT handlebars.
Thank you very much, Jelle. Okay, we've talked about e-mountain bike products, mountain bike bars and stems. You mentioned droppers as a trend at the beginning, Boy. What are the updates here?
Yeah, correct. And also here we have some exciting news to tell you. About 4 years ago, Pro started with the first dropper, was the 120mm dropper, and this one was of back in the day. Most frames had a solid seat post, so it was a pure upgrade product. Yeah, since then we've been adding products to the range to stay on top of the market trends. Yeah, and if you see our sales figures, it's showing a very good positive development. And also, like Oliver mentioned, the droppers have become a focus category for Pro. Yeah, we see that currently the 120 and 150mm droppers are our best-selling droppers, but also we see now 170 coming up. Yeah, and if we just look at today's sales figures, we can conclude that the 150 with internal routing and 31.6 clamp diameter is our best-selling dropper post.
So it's safe to say then that dropper sales are going up?
Yeah, that's correct. With this current range, we can offer from the short XC and gravel rider with 70mm dropper, all the way up to the enduro rider that needs a 170mm dropper.
And Jelle, isn't every mountain bike equipped with a dropper nowadays?
Indeed, there is a growing demand on replacement or upgrade OEM dropper seat post. As we know, in our Pro dropper seat post lineup, we currently don't offer anything in the LT range for the rider who is looking for a reliable, budget-friendly dropper seat post. Therefore now we introduce a LT dropper with a new 2-bolt head design and an attractive price point. We keep all the goods elements of Koriak dropper seat post, so it's very easy to service and it's very reliable. The dropper post will come in 2 different diameters, 30.9mm and 31.6mm, and it will have a drop of 150mm. We will offer also both sizes of diameter in internal and external routed, because a lot of old mountain bikes are not suited for internal cable routing. Together with the LT 0-degree stem and the 2 new LT handlebars, we created a complete new LT mountain bike group set.
It's great to see the LT range now has a lot to offer mountain bike riders. Jelle, Boy mentioned slacker frames and longer droppers. Pro's longest is 170, but I have seen droppers up to 200mm in the market.
By modern mountain bike standards, a trail rider wants to get a saddle out of the way many times during a ride. And we see that on current frames on large and XL sizes, some OEMs are offering 200mm droppers. We took the opportunity of our Tarsus 100mm dropper seat post, and we kept all the good things, and we increased the length, and we also kept the weight savings. So the new dropper post will still have the 2-bolt head design with titanium bolts. It has the alloy cartridge and optimized internal. The upper shaft will be oval on the inside, and also the lower shaft is optimized to get as light as possible. These new Tarsus dropper seat posts will have a 2-bolt head design as we know as a Tarsus 100mm that we have introduced last year, and the 160mm Tarsus dropper post will have a weight of 495 grams, and the 200mm will have a weight of 554 grams. As you can see for model year 22, we offer an exciting mountain bike lineup from low-end to high-end from mountain bike to e-mountain bike.
Thank you, Jelle. Brilliant stuff, guys. There is so much going on. It's great to hear as well how Pro is continuing to shape and innovate the mountain bike scene, from e-mountain bike to stems to bars to droppers. There's so much to talk about. So, Boy, what are the takeaways?
As mentioned, the EMTB scene is growing rapidly, and now Pro is offering the new Coriac e-performance bars and stems. So there's never been a better time to get in with those products into the dealers. Next to that, we're going to offer the Coriac Carbon in 31.8. So now we have a complete range from alloy and carbon in both 35 and 31.8 millimeter for the modern mountain biker. Next to that, LT, as Jelle already addressed, we offer now bars and stems and droppers. So really good group set for the MTB rider to begin with. With Pro extending or expanding the dropper range, we're now able to offer from low end to high end, from XC rider to enduro rider, every size of dropper and diameter. So we have a complete range to offer now.
So that is the very latest from the mountain bike product team. But what is a dropper without a saddle? It's now time to head to Pro's team for saddle updates. And joining me is Martijn and Fabian. Martijn, starting with you, how are you? And what exciting news do you have for us today?
Hi Laura, thank you. I'm fine. For saddles, Pro is going to further expand the Stealth family. This has been an important saddle since we introduced it 4 years ago, with a huge worldwide demand. And that's also something that's visible if you look at the order volumes, which clearly show that the Stealth family has a 60% share in value. And this, of course, really confirms the importance that it has for Pro, but also for our distributors and for our dealers.
And last year, Pro introduced the Stealth Sport. How are the sales developments for that model?
Correct. If you zoom in on the road-dedicated saddles, you can clearly see the stack up over there with the Stealth Sport, the Stealth, and then the Stealth Carbon and Superlight at the highest level. And if you look at the sales figures, we see a massive growth since mid-2020. And what we also see over there is the big share which the Stealth Sport is already taking. It's already responsible for almost a quarter based on order volume, and even close to 40% based on quantity.
Okay, so what are your conclusions on this?
So what we see on the roadside is the importance of having this stack up. And that's something that we have with the latest edition of the Stealth Sport. We now have a Stealth saddle at different levels. And with that, we really reach a wide target group.
So that's on the road side then. What about the mountain bike side?
So last year, we introduced the very first Stealth off-road saddle, and it has received extremely well. And not only by the mountain bikers, but also by the gravel riders, we see great acceptance. So you really see it's covering the off-road segment.
And what about the stack up?
If you look at the off-road side, Pro currently does not offer this stack up yet, but that's going to change because we are going to launch the Stealth Off-Road Sport.
Okay, exciting stuff. So Fabian, bringing you in now, can you just show us this new saddle and its features?
Yes, of course. As you can see, we kept the overall aggressive look and feel of the Stealth saddle for the new Sport. For the finish, we decided to create a more basic design matching the sports level. For the material, we created the Off-Road Sport out of a PU with a single density, carbon reinforced base like you see with other Pro models, and we finish it up with a solid chromoly rail. The saddle will be available in a size 142 and a size 152.
Okay, Martijn, bringing you back in then. What else does the Stealth family have to offer?
Well, it has been 4 years since we have introduced the very first Stealth road-dedicated saddle. And although it's still selling extremely well, we believe it's time for an update. And it's mainly because we see a shift in today's design trends. So that's why for our second generation, we are going to update the overall look and feel.
So does this mean then you won't be changing the strong, popular shape of the Stealth?
Yes, that's correct. We see a lot of positive feedback coming from the market, and the shape of the Stealth is an important reason for that. And so for sure, we didn't want to change that shape.
Okay, interesting stuff. Fabian then, bringing you back in, can you tell us more about the design update?
Yeah, sure. The new Generation 2 Stealth must fit in the latest design trends, like Martijn already mentioned. Besides that, the saddle must be an evolution of the previous generation saddle. At the same time, we want to build on the recognizable design elements of the first generation, Recognizable design elements are the noticeable rear spoiler, the large anatomic cutout, including the bridges. The third is the wide nose, and last is the overall short length.
Thank you very much. Well, I can't wait to see this new saddle in action. Let's take a look. Okay, Fabian, then, how did you implement the key design elements of the Stealth into this second generation?
Yes, we did that by starting to embed clean lines and hard angles into the design. Similar, like we saw in the design trend overview. For this, we used the triangle and a trapezoid shape as our main key shape. These shapes are visible in the rear of the spoiler, but also in the padding and all the elements of the base. And last, we added the 3 bridges. And similar to our model year 21 update, we added the vane and the heart where the Pro logo has been placed.
So Fabian, then, how does this fit alongside the road saddles that Pro introduced last year?
As you have seen, the Stealth has its own specific recognizable look and feel. That's certainly what we want to keep for Generation 2. But from the start of the design process, we want to make sure it would fit within the line of last year's Turnix Falcon Griffon. So having all these models next to each other, you clearly can see the Stealth fits in with the other road models. But of course, the Stealth being designed as the most aggressive one.
This all sounds really impressive, but Martijn, there's a bit more for us, isn't there?
Yes, completely right. We have more news for you. We have a new member for the Stealth Road family.
Okay, I am very interested. Firstly though, can you explain why Pro has short nose saddles in the lineup as well?
Well, the short nose saddle design is typically what you see throughout the whole Stealth lineup, and is specifically developed for riders who like to be in that aggressive and deep riding position. And the short nose and the anatomic cutout reduces that pressure around the soft tissue. And the wide shape gives optimal sit bone support. And together with the slightly wider nose, the rider will have that optimal stability.
And Fabian, the Pro Stealth saddle is very popular, but does it suit everyone?
Well, we heard a lot of positive feedback of the Stealth saddle, and that it has been adopted and loved by many types of riders. However, there's also a group of riders who moves more from left to right and likes to have more room and curvature on the side of the saddle. Yeah, for this, it allows more clearance and lower friction on the inner thighs. Yeah, for these riders, want to have the benefit of a short saddle, but have more room on the side of the saddle. That's why Pro will introduce the Stealth Curved.
Please tell us more then about how the team at Pro created this saddle.
The Stealth name is really linked as the first short saddle ever created for road cycling. So the current model has a semi-round profile, which doesn't allow riders to have a lot of side-to-side movement with minimal to none inner thigh support. Like I already mentioned earlier, these riders that do have more side-to-side movement in their riding style are in need of a different shape. So that's why Pro developed a specific rear round profile. This means you get all the benefits from the Stealth, but in a slightly more curved package.
Okay, so how did Pro further optimize this new model for these types of riders?
Well, we did that by making the edges slightly more padded and also lowered compared to the original Stealth. In other words, more curvature on the rear means more comfort. This curvature is not only applied on the rear, but also over the full length of the saddle. So riders can also benefit from this while being in a deep and aggressive riding position. Talking about the nose, the nose has been designed a bit smaller compared to the original Stealth. By giving a smaller nose, the riders will have room for the inner thighs, but still have the good support. And last, we created a bigger tail up to make sure the rider will be locked into position.
Okay, great stuff. So Martijn, what other different models will Pro offer?
Well, as we do with our other models, for the Curve we will offer that stack up as well. Starting with the performance version, which will come with the stainless steel rail. And at the highest level, we will have the team version with a carbon rail to save on weight. Both will have the EVA padding for optimal comfort. We'll have the carbon reinforced base, and they will be available in two sizes, 142 and 152.
Thanks a lot, Martijn and Fabian. The new additions to the Stealth family sound fantastic, and it's great to see that Pro are aiming to cater to as many types of bike riders as possible, no matter how they sit in the saddle. It's really interesting to see as well how the design and the concept are being applied to the road as well. So let's head there now and speak to Javier and Jos about the new Vibe Evo.
Hi, Laura. Thank you for your intro. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, same here. It's a pleasure. Also to be here with one of the Pro key projects, now finally finished after a long time of development. And today you'll be able to see our best knowledge and experience applied in many great details.
Great, I'm excited to find out some more. So who's going to kick things off?
Yeah, let me start because I think that we have a nice heritage about the Evo surname. It's a key surname in our lineup. And as Jos say, with a lot of development hours behind and with a long journey to arrive here. So we can mention some Pro teams like Giant or Sky Team, for example, or maybe we can mention some riders like Hessink or Froome or even Van der Poel. So from the big tours till Cyclocross World Cup. So with no doubt, we are here to talk about a really key product.
Javier, this is great. It's really important to hear about the evolution of the product, the heritage of the product, and the whys behind it as well.
Indeed, Laura. And seeing the evolution of the product and the result of the new one, we can see also how far we can go in terms of development. We are here today not just to introduce a new high-end handlebar, so we are here today to introduce a new road cockpit system. So that means that we came from our Stealth Evo, but today we are here to introduce our new Vibe Evo, a completely new concept in the market.
Well, thank you, Javier, for whetting our appetites. I'm sure we're all very excited to see the new concept, and there is no better way than a very cool 3D video from Pro. Take a look. Wow, guys. Okay, after seeing the video, I have a fair few questions I'd like to ask.
For sure. You can shoot us all questions that you need, and I'm sure that Jos and myself will do our best to reply you with our best knowledge.
Well, before we go into the design details, why is this project so important?
The new Vive Evo is a really important project in terms of time, because we started the project 3 years ago. In terms of resources, because for sure we had to apply our best knowledge and also our best means to develop. And also in terms of expectation, because we really believe that we are going to launch a completely new concept. We are going to set a new trending in the market, because as I mentioned before, we are going to launch a new road cockpit system.
Okay, Jos, bringing you in. Javier has really emphasized the road cockpit system there. Why is this important?
Well, that's because it's more than just a handlebar. We've took a stem and handlebar, but also integrated computer and accessory mounts. We've also integrated grips and smart cable routing. So it's basically a bigger concept than just a handlebar. We've also taken the Pro design philosophy, as was outlined in the saddle presentation, and applied it to this concept, which matches the new road bike looks and has a distinct look. Well, lastly, we've taken aerodynamics, ergonomics, and integration and applied all of these onto this new concept to basically create an all-in-one system.
Yeah, it sounds really impressive. So can you take us through some of these unique features, for example, cable routing?
Well, that's a really good place to start, because of most of the new high-end road bikes, they have that as a USP. So obviously, the cables go in from the shifter side, but going from there, there's 3 different options, depending on the type of braking or shifting system that you're using, but also depending on the type of bike. So firstly, you can route through the traditional way through a hole in the top section. But if you don't use that, you can plug them with the supplied rubber plugs. But if you route all the way through the stem, you can pass the cable through the top or the bottom for a completely invisible cable routing that matches with the new modern integrated bikes.
That is a versatile cable routing system, but for Di2, satellite shifters, Dura-Ace and Ultegra, there is a special integration, isn't there?
Well, indeed, that's a special bit of integration we applied here. Yeah, so if we look at the shape of the top section hole, it's not just a hole, but specifically shaped in such a way that it matches with the new Dura-Ace or Ultegra satellite shifters. So that's an extra piece of integration we applied here. So if you use this, you can have shifting or maybe operation of a bike computer at your thumbs.
That is a very cool and unique feature, and no other handlebars in the market have that incorporated. When we looked at the cable entry at the shifters, I also noticed the shaping from the handlebars to the shifters. What are the new developments there?
You really have a sharp eye, Laura, because we've taken a look at the Stealth Evo, which has a distinct kink at the drop section, which makes that there's a seamless transition from the handlebar up to the shifters. So we've taken that and applied it onto the new Vibe Evo, but even improved on it by incorporating the new cable routing. So you get a really seamless and comfortable transition from the handlebar to the shifters. The Vibe Evo will be the first in the market carrying this feature.
So fundamentally then, you've taken a popular aspect of the Stealth Evo handlebar and taken it to a whole new level. I can see how this will give a rider a much more comfortable grip on the handlebar. What about the top section then? This also plays a big part in aerodynamics, doesn't it?
Yeah, you're correct in that. The top section, as we know, has the biggest effect on aerodynamics. But we also know that it's a point of contact, so we also want it to be grippy and comfortable to hold. So for that, we've designed and integrated special top grips that integrate with the handlebar. These top grips, they are made of a super grippy silicone rubber and can be removed and replaced by the consumer if needed. And these allow for a really integrated look of the handlebar.
And ergonomics are also really important here, aren't they?
Indeed, ergonomics also played a big role here, because if we look at the forward bend, it's specifically shaped to allow for an extra hand position we would like to call the corner grip. This hand position is easy to use if you are going for longer rides, so you can switch hand position more often. Also, looking at the top section, we can see that it has a slight downward slope, which allows for a neutral hand position, which is more comfortable, and also creates a small kink between the top and the forward bend to rest your arms if you're riding the arrow hoods position.
And what about the drop of the handlebars? Does that have a special shape as well?
So the drops, they have a comfortable, compact shape, which you can wrap with a regular handlebar tape, or what we do recommend is the use of the newly developed ergonomic drop grip, which is basically a mountain bike grip, but made to fit the drop road bike handlebars. It's ergonomically shaped, so it fits the hand, and it's also really grippy rubber, so to have good control and comfort when riding in the drops. There's also an extra piece of integration here with a hole that allows you to fit the satellite shifter for shifting in the drops. Also note that it's not only for Vibe Evo, but that it can also fit on other road bike handlebars.
It's really interesting to see how many details are being included in this futuristic concept and the vast reasons behind it all as well. It's clearly complex, but really impressive. So I'd now like to ask you about integration. What if I wanted to add, for example, my bicycle computer? There isn't really a round section on the handlebar for a mount.
Yeah, for the bike computer, we also thought of that. Looking at Stealth Evo, there were 2 mounting holes underneath, which we also applied to Vibe Evo. So you can put a direct computer mount directly under there, for which we also developed a new Vibe Evo computer mount. This one will feature 3 plastic inserts for Garmin, Brighton or Wahoo, which are the most popular bike computers in the market. And it also differs from the competition by the amount of adjustability that it offers. Not just fore-aft adjustability, but also the angle. So you can have the perfect setup for the best viewing position, but also have an integrated look with the handlebar.
That's very cool. And what about mounting lights or a camera?
Again, the mounting position of the holes is exactly the same as we use on the saddles. So any saddle accessory mount can also be used on the handlebar. And for example, if you wanted to use both the computer mount, you can also have it with the camera mount attached underneath. So to have them both in the same position.
So Javier, from a sales point of view, this handlebar and new cockpit system will be a revolution for the market, right?
Pro always try and still trying to do the best, and for sure listen our distributor and our end consumers. So basically we are now setting a new trending in the market, and also we want to show how far we can go in terms of development and engineering.
It's certainly unique. So to be clear then, the handlebar targets a consumer who wants the best performance and optimal integration.
Indeed, after all said till here, we cannot deny, and the target consumer are the ones that are looking, or they already have even, high-end bikes. If we want to link, for example, with Shimano drivetrain, we can say that our target consumer could be the riders that are using Di2 Tegra or Di2 Dura-Ace, for example.
But aren't those latest superbikes already equipped with an integrated cockpit?
Indeed, there are a lot of top OEMs that are using already integrated cockpit, but also they are using the same frame set and 2 setup with integrated and without integrated cockpit. And these models, the last ones, are where we can see the volumes and where we can see a big opportunity for Pro. So the new Vibe Evo can be a really good opportunity to improve this kind of bikes.
Well, I have to ask though, is it for everyone?
Well, let me work a little bit with our roles. So imagine, Laura, that we are visiting a dealer. Just, you should be the technical guy in the shop, and Laura and myself, we are going to be 2 end consumers looking for a new cockpit for our bikes.
Okay, this is a cool idea. Let me start by saying then I have a bike. It's around 2,500 euros at Ultegra Di2 level, but without the integrated handlebar.
Well, Laura, I think we know you and your bike because we've seen it on Instagram.
Yes, that is indeed me. And Javier, I guess you have a very different bike.
Well, not so different, 2 wheels, but in the end, just you know my bikes. So all bikes should be full of Pro. And yeah, maybe I will be the one that arrives to the shop with my bike fitting reports. So I know my position on the bike. And yeah, I will use a high-end carbon frame set and also, for sure, Di2 drivetrain, probably Dura-Ace.
Okay, so how can this cockpit fit on both of our bikes?
Well, it's good to know that both your bikes have both different stereo tubes, a regular size for Gavi's bike, but also oversized for Laura's bike. And for that, we designed a system with shims that either without the shims, the handlebar can fit directly onto Laura's bike or, for example, Canyon Giant. But with the shims, either 2 degrees or the straight shim, it can fit on Javi's bike and most of the regular size stereo tubes. So in the end, it will not be a question of will this handlebar fit my bike?
But then, Josh, and this is cool because in the end, a single handlebar can fit with different frame set dimensions. So, but you know perfectly that the most important topic when you are going to select a cockpit is the width of the handlebar, but also the length of the stem. So how we can play with this dimension on the new BiFibo?
Well, you probably are familiar with stack and reach of the bike.
Indeed.
We can apply the same concept to the new Vibe Evo handlebar. For example, the stem lengths will come in 105, 115 and 125 millimeters, which is the horizontal length. So you can add that number to the reach of the bike. All the stems will have a similar stack of 40 millimeters, so that can be added to the stack of the bike as well. And if you measure by the traditional way with the stem angle, they will range between 7.5 and 9.3 degrees.
And the shims you mentioned, adjusting them by plus or minus 2 degrees can further adjust that angle.
That is true because we've designed and optimized for a 72-degree head tube angle, but we also know that, for example, larger size frames have a 74-degree head tube angle and the smaller sizes even down to 70. So with these shims, you can adjust for that head tube angle.
And what if I'd like to change the height of my handlebar?
Well, for the height, we've decreased the stem clamping area from 40 to 30 millimeters, so you have 10 millimeters of extra vertical adjustment. But also you can add or use the specially developed Vibe Evo spacer set to have your handlebar at your preferred height.
And so what about the cable routing then? I've heard this can be an absolute nightmare for bike mechanics. How did you address that?
We know that as well. Mechanic guys, they hate us for that, but we found a really smart solution with that, with split spacers that allow you to adjust the height without having to redo all the cables. And also they can carry the cables on the inside.
That's a really clever design. So the spacers help to create this integrated look between the frame and the new Vibe Evo. I can see why you're calling this a complete cockpit system. So you've mentioned lengths for stack and reach, but what about the handlebar width? Because this is also important, isn't it?
Indeed. Because it's a one-piece design, we had to be really careful to select the correct specifications. So for this, we looked at the stem lengths and the handlebar widths, analyzing all the market trends.
Yeah, I know that riders are choosing narrower handlebars nowadays. What widths do Pro offer?
Well, that will be a 38, 40 and 42 centimeters, which is measured on the top section. It will have a slight flare in the drops of 5 degrees, which offers better control when sprinting or descending. It's 2.5 centimeters wider in the drops. And speaking of that drop, it's 132 millimeters deep, which allows for both comfortable and aggressive riding positions.
You mentioned both comfortable and aggressive riding styles. How has the handlebar been designed to support both?
Well, for example, if we look at the reach of the handlebar, that is 80 millimeters. It allows you to stretch out on the bike, for example, riding in the drops for that aggressive position. But because of the special shaping on the top section, it even feels a little bit shorter when you're riding on the shifters. So both comfortable and aggressive riding styles.
And Javier, let me ask you the million-dollar question. What about the weight? Many roadies are investing thousands of dollars to reduce the weight of their bikes and replacing those factory parts. So how can Pro help them?
Laura, I only can tell you that our new BiFibo is really competitive in terms of weight, and you can compare with our Vive lineup, but also with our competitors. So BiFibo is a really, really good option.
And Javier, you mentioned there the Pro lineup. Maybe it's a good time now to explain all the options Pro can offer for road handlebars.
Indeed, it's a good moment to make a summary. So we have two lineup, alloy handlebars and also carbon handlebars. So you can see in the lineup the good, better, best categories. And also, for example, for alloy, you can see LT, PLT and Vive series. But also today we are talking about carbon. For the carbon one, we have PLT, Vive, and the new Vive Evo. But today I need to insist, and if you really like to be unique and have a really, really trending handlebar, the Vive Evo is a really cool option.
Okay, let's now discuss the details about launching to market, because this will be done in a really special way with the new Vibe Evo. Why is that?
Indeed, let me start with the order handling. So we are going to have available limited quantities, but also limited SKUs. The distributor are able to order in our next order round 9. So means just after this go-to-market. Also, it's really special launching, and the why is because we are going to consider the new ByFibo like a gold campaign in our marketing activities. But no better person than Alexa to explain you all details about this.
Thank you very much, Javier. Thank you, Jos, both of you, for your time and energy today and your thoughtful and insightful explanations too.
Thank you, Laura. It was a pleasure.
Same here, a pleasure.
So last but by no means least, we will now chat to Alexa from Pro Marketing to find out a bit more about the planned action for the projects we have heard about today. So a very warm welcome to you, Alexa. We've had a taste already of some of the amazing videos and assets that will be available to our sales offices and distributors. Let's dial it back a little bit though and talk about how the marketing story really began.
Thanks, Laura. For Pro, it all really begins with our brand promise. Pro enables a better sports bicycle experience. Of course, what most of our sales officers and distributors are already aware of for 2021, building in and into 2025, we want to become the top 3 brand of preference in saddles and cockpits. And then, of course, use the momentum to strengthen and position the Pro brand.
Okay, so talk us through how you plan to do that, having 2 categories under the one campaign.
We're going to have one gold campaign, and that will fall under Upgrade Outperform and will be comprised of saddles and cockpits. And what we really want to ensure is that our sales officers and distributors focus 65% of their resources on saddles and cockpits underneath Upgrade Outperform.
Of course, the question is, with so many sub-brands, how would you like the sales officers and distributors to promote the campaign?
It's really important that we have and push on the key promotion of our sub-brands. And then, of course, during the year, we're going to have key highlight moments and activities on the marketing side, which will help to elevate saddles and cockpits. But then, of course, everything that we do on a sales office and distributor side must always push to the heart of our marketing, which is going to be the new Pro website.
Well, it sounds like there'll be some key activities you'd like them to focus their attention on.
Yeah, so Laura, it really kicks off in April. And we've got our road category focus, which will kick off with GCN, popular cycling channel GCN, of course. And then we will unbox our Turnix, Falcon and Griffin saddles, and then kick off with a really exciting Tour de France related competition. We've got some fantastic prizes up for grabs, and that will link everybody to and through, on the consumer side, our new Pro website, but in particular, the saddle selector. Then mid-year, we've got our model year 21 late product embargo. And of course, added to that, we've got limited product availability, which will be made to our sales officers and distributors, as per what Javier said, at the end of June.
Of course, it's important to bring these products to market as well. What can the sales officers and distributors expect from Pro Marketing?
Well, I'm pretty excited about this one. We will have a whole host of digital assets for our Stealth and Stealth Curved, as well as Vibe Evo product introductions. And those will be made available to our sales officers and distributors via Media 2 at the end of May.
Okay, great stuff. So looking specifically then at the model year 21 late products, what is your marketing direction for these?
So for us, we really focused on the digital assets and making those available to our sales officers and distributors. It was really important to make sure that we had strong commercial copy and imagery available. We also looked at different delivery themes that we would make available, and those would be focused on action, rider, and product. So we've chosen 3 iconic locations for this year's model year 21 late lifestyle photography. And we're very excited about it. So we've chosen the first one being Mont Ventoux, and then we will shoot over to the Louvre in Paris, and then we will finish it off with the chicanes in and around Monaco, which we'll use to introduce our Vibe Evo cockpit.
This sounds incredible and visually absolutely stunning as well. I'm sure the sales officers and distributors can't wait to get their hands on those assets in May. What exactly will you be supplying them with?
Well, this year we've gone above and beyond to assist our sales officers and distributors to ensure they've got the best digital assets at their disposal on Media 2 in order to obviously sell these products to, well, many exciting consumers. We'll provide commercial as well as technical copy, and that will be in short and long versions. Of course, we've got many USBs, which will be not only commercial, but also technical USBs. We've also listed the intended users. We've got the campaign overview, which we'll deliver as well at the end of May. And then, of course, to seal that off, we've got a really exact content calendar, which I'm sure is going to help all of our sales officers and distributors when it comes to time of planning their social media calendars. But, of course, there's more. We've got video, which we're going to be adding. We've got photo shoots that we're going to be doing in studio as well as outdoors, as I've already alluded to, those amazing venues. And then we've got furthermore a whole host of amazing retail assets, which will be made available on Media2 too.
Okay, so looking at all of these really exciting product introductions you've got, what can we expect the timeline for Pro Marketing to look like after late August?
Building on from August, when we would have been the timing that we sent each of our sales officers and distributors the digital assets for model year 22, we'll kick off with the embargo for model year 22 products in September, early September. And then we go into an exciting video documentary, which will be filmed focusing on gravel with our Pro Gravel ambassador, Laurens ten Dam. And then, of course, we've got, as you've seen, some really exciting mountain bike related products as well as tools. And there we will consider, obviously, the hero launch opportunities and moments which will build in and to and through the rest of 21, taking us into 2022. Then what's also furthermore exciting is we've got a really fantastic mountain bike documentary which we're going to be filming in and around Norway. And here we will focus on 5 of our Pro ambassadors, and they're going to show us Norway by boat and by bike.
It all sounds brilliant. To finish off then, what other projects will Pro Marketing be focusing on in 2021?
We've got another 5 projects that we're going to be working on. We're going to be focusing on the new Pro website. We're going to be obviously launching our review marketing campaign results in September. And then we are revamping our evolved ergonomic story. And then, of course, we've got a new media and social media guidelines, which we're going to be sharing with each of our sales officers and distributors. And then, very excited, is that towards the latter part of the year, we'll have also our first results linked to Hatch Where to Buy program, which has been implemented in Poland. So lots coming up, lots to do. And but yeah, that's it for us for the rest of the year.
Thank you so much, Alexa. It sounds like a very busy year.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be, but we're looking forward to supporting our sales officers and distributors in pushing our Upgrade, Outperform campaign in 2021.
So now that we have heard about all the exciting new products that we are launching, I am here with Mark and Julian to summarise the presentations from today and to explain the next steps as well. So Mark, starting with you, please summarise the presentations.
Yes, of course. So first, a big thanks to the team who made it possible to have this great launch of products for model year 22. And to summarise gravel, gravel is accepted by the consumer and the industry. With Pro, we try to stay on trend as much as possible. With our full line of handlebars that are compatible with Shimano Di2 and our successful series of bags, we continue to build on this segment. For our accessories, we are looking more and more into the industry trends where disc brakes become the standard for all bikes. We expand our product portfolio further and also make our tools 12-speed compatible. The new Pro Smart Cage is an innovative concept where we combine multiple product categories for cross-selling, and we have a more integrated look on the bike.
Thank you. And let's talk about mountain bikes.
Mountain bike is a segment that continues to be in development. We as Pro try to meet the rider's demand as much as possible. That is why, next to the Coriac dropper post, last year we already added the Tharsis level dropper seat post to our lineup. This year we will extend to this level of seat post and also add an LT level mountain bike dropper seat post. We do this in order to better suit the needs of the present mountain bike rider.
And what about e-mountain bike as well, another real trend that's growing?
E-bikes in general are changing the bicycle industry rapidly. For Pro, the focus is to connect closely with Shimano steps, and a great example of this was the last year introduced Coriac e-Performance Cockpit. This year we continue to build on this strategy with the new e-Performance handlebars. These handlebars are specifically designed for the geometry of modern e-mountain bikes and integration with steps components.
And the Stealth saddle has become a really well-known product for us all. We're seeing more developments there too.
The Stealth has kept its great fit, but is fully designed to match the new design direction for Pro. With the Pro Stealth Curved, we make the Stealth family available for even more riders around the globe. I trust our partners will do their utmost to keep the Pro Stealth saddle the success it already is.
And finally, we saw that fantastic new integrated handlebar.
It absolutely looks stunning. With the new Vibe Evo, we are entering a new era for integrated cockpits that Pro has been offering for over 15 years. We developed it to be compatible with a wide variety of bike frames, so almost everybody can benefit of the great features that seamlessly work with Shimano Dura-Ace Di2. Lastly, I would like to add that for Pro, we are looking in to improve our sustainability. We continue to search for materials that are better for the environment to further reduce our carbon footprint. A quick win is that from next year, we will improve our packaging to become more sustainable.
Thank you very much, Mark. Julian, now bringing you in, can you explain the next steps?
For sure. And we have a lot of customers which are already for a long time in the business. So in the current situation, it's even more important actually to explain them than really the next steps. After the meeting, all presentations will be stored on our Media Tool website. With this, they are able actually to review the new products, but the new marketing activities, and of course, they need to think about the potential they have. From the beginning of April, price list, forecast files, and product descriptions will be available. Product renders will be in the presentations, and official high-res pictures will be shared from July on. The first free of charge samples for the new Vibe and Stealth products will be shipped in April. Like last year, we will offer also limited quantity of samples, which will be shipped in May. The purpose for this is actually to visit the key retailers, but as well to tackle really the early house shows. Next to this, you will get the opportunity to order samples as well. These are planned to be shipped in August. The international account manager will contact the customer to review and to discuss the new products. As we have the regular model year products, but of course we have our special launch for the new road compo, like the new Stealth saddles and the new Vibe products, which will be introduced at summer timing. Especially for these new items, we together with the customer would like to make an introduction plan, which can be linked to the new Shimano Road A products. For model year 22, we of course will offer our sales actions as well. You haven't seen them yet, but our account manager will contact you to discuss these new activities and of course to look into the potential they have. We would like to get a clear understanding of the expectations of the new, but as well, of course, of the current lineup. And to see if our expectations are matching your expectations and of course your targets. Last but not least, Alexa showed the improvements we have made, including all the activations we are planning. It's actually clear that we have defined our focus categories and that we together want to build the brand to the next level.
Thank you very much, Julian. Well, that's it from the Go-to-Market meeting for 2021, and it is clear that Pro is continuing to shape and innovate the bike industry. A huge thank you to the teams in the Netherlands for such thorough explanation of the brilliant products we've seen today. And last but not least, a huge thank you to all of you for watching as well. Hopefully see you soon in person. Bye for now.